there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dark pass away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground, rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds, whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside, a treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask their cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground, rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Winter reveals the hidden lie. Moonlight could mask their cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground, rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Oh, might need to cut that off there. Sorry. Let me go ahead and cut these Facebooks out. That gives me too many rings on there. Well, welcome to the channel, everybody. If you have not been here before, my name is Elizabeth, and this is Hillbilly Crime. If you have been here before, I'm glad that you're back. I'm sorry that we did not have our regular show last night. I laid down just to get a couple minutes nap, and I woke up and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm so sorry. Sometimes I guess you just need to take a nap. Anyway, how is everybody? So I was up after I got up at 3 a.m. I was up I guess I've been up ever since. And I was watching TV, and man, do you all realize how many young girls are giving birth to full-term babies and then not taking advantage of, like taking them to a fire department or a health department, or shoot, anymore, they could pretty much take it to a car wash, and somebody's going to take that baby. You don't have to take it in the bathroom and do bad stuff, right? Well, there's another one. There was another one that I saw last night. Let's look at this one. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Alexi Treviso, I think is her name. We're going to read this one, and then I'm going to read the other one. Trial postponed for teen accused of throwing her baby in a hospital bathroom garbage can. And just to give you a little bit understanding of what she did, she put it in a garbage bag, you know, like the clear plastic ones at a hospital, you know, that would be like in the garbage, whatever. She took one of those, an empty one, and she laid it down in there, and then she twisted it. You know, she twisted it around to where it was airtight. And then she wrapped it around that, or tucked it underneath the baby, and put it in the bottom of the garbage can, and then laid like some other garbage over top of it. And I don't even know how anyone could do something. She was in a hospital too, mind you. She had went to the emergency room. She did this in the emergency room. She tried to hide it from the nurses, which was what was so bad. But I can't even begin to understand how somebody, like I'd be wanting a doctor, you know, I'd be terrified of, you know, anything happening. I would want a doctor. I'm sure this is going to be a very sensitive subject and topic. There's so many different shows that and stuff that I want to do shows on, and so since I did an early one today, I wanted to get this one in. Trial postponed for the teen accused of throwing it in the garbage can. Okay. It's been over a year since a teen was charged with red rum for throwing her little one in a hospital bathroom garbage can, and still no trial. Alexi Treviso was set for pretrial Tuesday. When was this? This was, well, it says it was updated. Oh, August 5th, 2024. But it's been put on hold while the Supreme Court decides whether certain evidence can be used. A district court ruled in favor of the defense in June to suppress all statements made by Treviso to her medical providers because of doctor-patient privilege, and all statements made by her to her doctor in front of police. Court documents even accuse the doctor of acting as a police agent. It was so wrong. I mean, all of us want to protect, or should want to, wish to protect, our medical history. It's not something we want broadcast to the rest of the state, and hers was broadcast not just to the rest of the state, but to the rest of the world. That is just kind of getting on my nerves. Let me pull up. I should have pulled this up a minute ago, but I didn't. Let me pull this up, and we will watch the body cam, because there was a police officer there. I don't know how to spell her last name. Here it is. Okay. Let me go to the body cam real fast, and it's really helpful. If you guys have not seen or are not familiar with this particular case, hold on to your hats. It's just awful.
Lexi, I told you about this.
You are detained. You are not free to leave at this point. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. How big is the baby?
It's full term.
What?
So we started working her up. We did a pregnancy test on her, showed positive. She was denying that she had sex. Then she said she had to go to the bathroom. She went to the bathroom. She was in there for quite a while. We kept knocking on the door. Finally, we got her to open the door, and there was blood everywhere. She was cleaning it up.
Okay.
So we took her back to the room, and I was afraid that she knew she was pregnant. She had done something to herself.
Mm-hmm.
So the doctor started doing an exam on her. We had the lady come to clean the bathroom. She put the baby in the trash can, and then she put another clean liner over the top of it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So when they looked in there, there was no trash in there, but it was
Right.
underneath the clean bag. The
Okay.
baby's dead. Okay, we have him in trauma too, but she killed the kid.
Yeah. How old was the baby?
I don't know. It's full term. She just had it. She had it in the bathroom. Was what happened, and then whatever she did, I don't know. She's gonna lie. She wouldn't tell us she's pregnant. She's been lying the whole time.
Okay.
So that's what's going on. I just pulled the doctor out of the room, so nothing's been said to the patient or the
Yeah.
mother that's in there yet.
Okay.
I have Leela, the housekeeper, if you want to interview her.
Yeah.
She's the one that kind of found.
Yeah, because I wanted to get with you guys first and then get with her to get her statement before I even do anything.
Well, I'm the charge, and this is what has happened.
Okay.
You can interview the nurse that had her.
Okay.
The two nurses that were taking care of her. You can talk to the tech, which is Lori. She's the one that went in there and actually found it, because Leela's like, this is really heavy.
Okay.
So then Lori went in there, and then of course the baby was underneath the clean liner.
Okay. Yeah. If we can speak with Lori. That way
Okay,
get her
I'll get
statement,
Lori, and I'll
get-
get
I'll
Leela.
get you.
So, officer, the first thing though is I need to make sure that the mother, the woman who delivered the baby, is medically stable.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if she's delivered a placenta. She's bleeding a lot. I just got her accepted to Loveless,
Okay.
so I need to get her up there as soon as possible.
Okay. Take this over right.
Okay, so how I need to tell her what's going on, and I need to tell the mother what's going. The mother and they're both in there together.
Uh-huh.
Is one of you willing to be?
Now, mind you, this little girl was not a child. She was 19 years old. She was a cheerleader, and she wore little bitty cheerleading outfits with her belly. You see it with her belly out to here. She knew she was pregnant. Nobody can tell me she didn't know she was pregnant. I know what pregnancy feels like, and that baby's moving inside of you. And when your belly is that big, like she was full term. And when you're in them little, if it's your senior year of high school and you're normally a little twig, cheerleader, which she was, and then all of a sudden you got this giant belly, but the rest of you is still pretty thin. And then you got all the other cheerleaders out there standing right next to her that are not pregnant. It was obvious because we've seen video. There's video out there of her cheering on the floor. She knew she was pregnant. Nobody, she can, I think, I think the more that she lies and says that she didn't know she was pregnant, and then they had other witnesses like girls at school and stuff who came forward and said that she had already named her baby. So she knew she was pregnant. She knew. And when they came to the hospital, her and her boyfriend, who she kept swearing to her mommy that she was not sleeping with, the mommy had to have known too. I don't know how the mommy didn't know. If that's your child, you're gonna know by seeing that big old belly. Wait till y'all see it. I mean, it's just unbelievable that somebody didn't say, let's go to the doctor and have a test done, because, you know, either you swallowed a watermelon seed, or you're having smacks.
Be present for that conversation.
I'll go in there.
We just
Oh.
okay, let's go in right now.
What I meant to say was, she went into labor, and she started having back pain. And so where I think, my opinion, but I think where she's such a spoiled brat and a baby, you know, oh, I gotta go to the doctor for this back pain. I don't know what her reasoning for that was, but she took her boyfriend, she took her mommy, she took her boyfriend's mommy, so the entire family was all there, like if she had had the baby. Like, you know, whenever somebody goes in and gives birth and has a baby, it's a joyous occasion. Everybody gets to see this baby and love on it and stuff, and she puts hers in the garbage can while everybody's sitting out there in the waiting room.
While we're doing that, I'll
And
be
then I'll make sure Leela comes down, all the other nurses and stuff are here, and I'll get Leela here. So she's in this shit. Hey, Marina, will you get Leela back down here? Marina?
I'm sorry, we discovered a dead baby in the bathroom.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. He came out and I didn't know what to do.
Lexi, I told you about this.
But it
I just asked you, baby, to tell me the truth.
was not crying or nothing.
What did you do to it?
Okay, stop right here.
I
Stop,
just
stop.
put it in-
Number one priority, guys. Number one priority is she just had a baby. I don't know if she's delivered the placenta. She's bleeding significantly.
Yeah.
I've spoken to the obstetrician at Loveless. They want her out there as soon as possible.
Okay.
I obviously need your permission.
Let me stop at real quick for a second, because this is where we're entering into a civil lawsuit. And now we're going to have lots of different opinions on this stuff, because it is so touchy, and, you know, it is such an awful subject. Okay. I do not, let me be very clear, I do not have any sympathy for these girls. I have none. Zero. No. They're the ones that made the decision, and they did not have to make that decision. It was very, very preventable. All of it was preventable. But this right here is where the girl and her mother have a civil lawsuit against the hospital, and they're trying to put all the blame on the hospital, because she's 19, but she came in with mommy, and mommy seems to be really overbearing and controlling. And, you know, if I had to guess at any reason why she did what she did, I think she did it because she didn't want to disappoint mommy. I think that she thought mommy was, you know, I don't know. I just think she thought she was afraid of her mom, is what I think. She was afraid of admitting that she was having sex, and she had gotten pregnant. But regardless, the hospital, like this doctor here, didn't quite realize that she was over 18. That's why she says, we need your permission. She's, you know, not done this. She's kind of given a little bit of her medical, but that's her mom, you know. So, and the hospital, it's not the hospital's fault. She kept denying that she was having sex. Apparently they asked her at intake and she kept lying to them and lying to them and lying to them. And when they were trying to do an examination, a hands-on exam on her, she was fidget. She kept moving around and fidgeting, and she would never let them do an exam. But anyway.
Transfer her for medicals. She needs to
She's
be
19.
Oh, you're right.
But she is a student too.
She's
No,
still
no,
19
you're
years old.
right. You're right. She needs to. I'm sorry, I forgot she's 19.
Keep out of me.
But you need to make sure that you're safe. I need to send you to Loveless to labor delivery. Will you please agree to that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm gonna work on that. In terms, I'm sorry about this, but in terms of delivering a baby and it looked like you tried to hide it, we do have to have the police involved.
And nothing was crying. It came out with nothing.
I know. But the baby's gonna have to be taken for autopsy and there'll be an investigator and everything. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But we need to do this correctly. And I want to be transparent with you about what our steps are gonna be. Officer, do you guys need to talk to her before we get her transferred?
How long is it gonna be before you have to transfer
I
out?
don't know. What were you working on?
Okay.
Maria,
So-
do you think 20, 30 minutes?
Yeah, hopefully, yes.
I got detectives on the way, so
Okay.
they're gonna be talking first.
Okay.
Do you guys have, I'm the charge nurse here. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Like how big is the baby?
It's full term.
What?
9 months?
Nothing was crying.
Let's see. Have you watched the news of the girls that what they do to their babies and what they go to jail?
Nothing was crying.
Any other questions? Okay.
So as of right now, like I said, is we're gonna have the detectives come over here and they're gonna talk to you, okay? We have to gather some more information about what's going on. They'll get your statement. They're gonna get the doctor's statements. They're gonna get everybody's statements, okay? So I don't know everything yet, okay? So I'm not gonna tell you, I can't tell you nothing honestly, okay? All I can say is,
Gonna go to jail.
right now,
No.
right now, she's being detained. So she's not gonna leave from here at all, period, okay? So one of us will
Is
be
it in
in,
your custody? Like,
yeah, she's detained.
oh,
Yeah, she's not under arrest.
You know what would have prevented all of this? If when mommy saw her big belly, that she said, come on, let's get in the car. We're going down to the doctor's office. Yeah, let's go check out your belly and see what's going on in there. If mommy would have said, I need you to be honest with me and tell me the truth. Are you having sex with your boyfriend? Because they were all married up. They're all wifed up. I was surprised whenever I went to one of our ball games, our local ball games, and it was for like 8th grade night, and I was just shocked at how many kids were already wifed up in 8th grade. I guess it's always been that way, maybe, but I mean, you've got kids on these ATVs and they, you know, they're just driving all around and it's boyfriend and girlfriend, and 8th grade, it's like they're 18, 19 years old, but they're not. They are not. They don't need to be doing the nasty. They're way too young. And I personally, listen, I'm a parent. I'm guilty, but it's our fault. If we don't stay present in our kids' lives and you can't just wife them up in 8th grade and expect not to be a grandma by the time they're a sophomore in high school, because it's going to happen. And, as parents, it's our job to talk to our kids about smacks, because it is look at what we're talking about in a whole lot of these cases, like around here. We're talking about perversion. Sorry, I whistled. We're talking about perversion. We're talking about a very, very unhealthy sexual behaviors, and just, it's awful. Don't you guys think it's awful? We've got senators and state representatives, and we've got doctors, and we've got lawyers, and we've got, you name it. And we've got some of the most perverted people. Well, I don't know if we do or not. I think the world has. I think they're everywhere. And they're not just men, they're women too. They're women too. There was a real wealthy couple, and they're real big on TikTok, and they're like boat setters, jet setters, whatever you call them. And he got caught by the FBI in some kind of child pornography, stuff. And he ended up taking a plea, and instead of 40 some counts of what he had on his devices that he had downloaded, he pled to 20 counts, and he got 5 years in prison. And everybody was saying, oh, well, did she know? Talking about the wife. Did she know? Do you think she knew? How do you think he kept it from her? And she just came out the other day, well, I don't know when it was, but I just saw it. She came out, and to set the record straight, she knew about it all. That he didn't hide none of it from her. She was very aware of it all. And for that matter, all of their friends knew about it. And all of their friends were fine with it. Now, they never once did they come out and deny that he had even done it. Oh no. They just normalized it. Like it was something that happens every day. Well, look at a lot of these cases that we're talking about. Well, maybe not a lot of them that we've talked about, but a lot of them that are in the news and that are in the media right now. And, well, not just right now. They are.
Yes, but she is detained. Okay, she's not free to leave. So while this,
Sorry, I had a brain fart.
whole thing is coming up, is you're not free to leave. Okay, one of us will be in here the whole time with you, because you're not going to try to leave or nothing like that.
She's right.
Like I said, the detectives will be here. They're going to talk to you. Your care is of the utmost right now. Okay, they're going to do what they need to do to take care of you, to make sure you get stable. They get you transferred out or whatever. Like I said, the detectives are already been notified. They're already on the way, so they're going to come talk to you. All right. So don't leave. Don't try to do nothing. One of us is always going to be in here in this room with you. Okay, unless we have to step out for doctor's orders, something like that, because if they need to examine you or do something with you. But other than that, like I said, you are detained. You are not free to leave at this point. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Where was the baby at?
I don't know. I have no clue yet. Like I said, I just talked to the charge nurse. We're still getting all the information right now. Okay. Once we get that information, like I said, the detectives, they can clue you in on everything and talk to you more about it.
Okay.
All right. So.
I think that she knew that she was going into labor, and she knew that it was going to be a mess. You know, it was going to be a mess. And she knew that she couldn't have that baby and go into labor at home, because if she did it at home, there was no way she could clean it up and her mom not know about it. I think she thought in her mind that if she went to the hospital, she could do what she does. She gets up and takes off running to the bathroom. And I think she thought that she could hide this. I really do. I think that she had been hiding, having smecks from her mom, and she had hid this pregnancy. She thought she had hid this pregnancy because nobody had confronted her about it. Everybody just turned a blind eye. See, there's another reason you cannot turn your blind eyes to this stuff, because it only emboldens them. It enables them. It makes them think that they're actually getting away with something, when we all know they ain't getting away with a damn thing.
Do you happen to have an ID on you, perchance?
Yes, she does.
Okay. Can we get that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Unbelievable.
All that information. Call it in. Not on radio. Okay.
Well, too, Twitchy said 19. That means she had to fail a grade somewhere. Well, mine are going to be old, too, when they graduate, because I held mine back. Both of my kids I held back in first grade, but because neither one of them could read. Coming out of first grade, they could not read good enough to go on to second grade. So I held them back, and it did wonders for them. It was great. So then we had COVID happen 2 years later, and they offered a COVID do-over year that was not supposed to negatively affect the kids. So we did the COVID do-over year too. So guys, mine will probably be 20 before they graduate high school. But that's New Mexico, so I'd say, you know, I don't know. They might have old kids in high school too.
Hang tight right here with her. Okay. I'll be back. Ma'am, could we get your ID also, please?
Yes.
Yeah, this was after COVID, because this body cam is 2023. So she would have been given that COVID do-over year too, if she did it. I don't know, but she would have been in school during COVID.
Yeah. Everything calm. I'll be right back. All right.
Can I step out? I'm gonna call my husband.
Yes. Yeah. You'll be fine.
Right.
I'll be back.
Shit.
Can I come out?
Exactly 7:30. Hey, could you do me a favor, run these two and add to the record call? Okay, it'll be New Mexico DL, both of them, whenever you're ready.
Where did you put the baby at? Tell me the truth. In there.
517.
Oh God.
That came out of your toilet? You put it in the bag?
Yes.
In what bag? Why did you say anything to us? Do you want to get in trouble for this now? You could get in trouble for
Mom,
this, baby.
Mom, all right, just give it time, okay? We're gonna speak to detectives whenever she's ready, okay? You ready for the second one? Second.
Now I will say, if I was the mother, you know, and she was my child, now I don't know, but I would also, even though my child had done this, no way would I be condoning it in any way, shape, or form. But I also would not allow my child to speak to the police. I mean, you know, I don't condone what she did in any way, shape, or form. I have no compassion, and I wish they would give her a very long prison sentence. But unfortunately, I don't think that they give them very long prison sentences for babies. And I think that is absolutely awful. It's like the closer they are to the age of being able to legally be done, you know, had an appointment and no longer be pregnant. It just doesn't seem like their lives are worth much in terms of how many years people spend in prison whenever they unalive one. I hope y'all followed that. I was trying to be a little camouflagey for YouTube.
Last thing, you have that second one?
Well, now this girl's not in Kentucky. I think they're in New Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. This one, Alexi Treviso, I'm pretty sure is in New Mexico.
The last week, the second one is 323.
Let's see. There we go.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Yeah, Lexi, I know it's kind of tough right now, okay? I know you're scared you're gonna learn everything else, okay? As of right now, I cannot allow your mom to be here with you, okay? So once the detectives get here, then she may be able to come back in here. But as of right now, I can't allow her to be back in here, okay? If you need something, we're not gonna stay in here, okay? Because I think it makes it worse that we're here anyway, all right, obviously. And I know you're scared. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stay on the outside of the door, okay? As long as you promise me you're not gonna hurt yourself, okay? Like I said, this is a lot. I know it is, okay? You're young, you know, I don't want to be in here kind of adding to your anxiety and everything else, okay? If you need something, just push that button, okay? And then they'll come in there. They're on the way, okay? Okay? So as soon as they get here, they're gonna talk to you. I mean, the reason why your mom, well, not yet. So I can't have you back in here yet. Yeah, once they get here, then it's up to the inspectors to get out of them if you can come back here. If they're okay with her coming back here, then you can come back here. Okay. The reason why is because you're an adult. You're 19 years old. Okay. If you're a juvenile, I would gladly have her back in here. Okay. But when you're an adult, I can't have you. So, if you have any questions, like say push that.
Can I grab a sign some forms?
Yeah.
That's right, man.
This is giving us permission to transfer you to Blackwood. Dr. Barry is gonna take you. You sign here. One more form. This is for the flight crew. Is gonna transfer you to that facility, so just sign the date. Today's the 27th. They'll be here for her in 30 minutes.
Come on.
They're gonna transfer her in 30 minutes.
Okay, I'll let them know. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're gonna be out there. If you need something, let us know, okay? All right. Excuse us.
Did you ever chance to talk about where she's going?
Oh, I have to talk to her about that. We just told her that she can't,
I got you.
nothing back. I mean, once she gets taken or whatever, then.
I got you.
Yeah.
I was just gonna let you know where she's being transferred.
Yeah, no, you're
Is that cool? Okay.
Yeah, no, you're fine. That's good point. One, baby. Put the baby in the bag. Oh, baby. She had the baby before.
Right.
She's still in there. She's gonna get hair lifted out, transferred out for because she's still whatever she's got going on or whatever. So they're gonna transfer her out. The housekeeper, I didn't talk to her too much. Just got a brief statement from her, got her information, and then the nurse had actually ran there, got the baby up in the bag, and then they rushed her to the baby into trauma 1. That's when they started working. Baby was weekend. So I got the bathroom closed off, and then I got the trauma room closed off because the trauma room, the housekeeper went in there because they called her to go clean it up. So obviously before she checked the trash can, she cleaned everything up. When she threw everything in the trash can, she looked it up, felt it was heavy, put it down. When she looked in there, and that's when she saw the baby. Yeah. So then they took obviously the baby in the trash can, trauma 1, put the baby on the table, and then that's whenever they
I'll take that.
But other than that, so I got both of those closed off.
Cool. House was compliant? House was compliant?
I think what make sure I'm not muted. Okay. I think one of the things that the hospital is suing about is because when she came into the ER and she denied that, they always ask you, are you pregnant? Could you be pregnant? They always ask you that question when you go to the ER. And she says, I'm sure she said no. And they asked her if she was sexually active, and she said no. They asked her more than once, and she said no. And she was complaining of so much back pain that she was hurting so bad. And her mom gave some medical problem she had. Mom is kind of a helicopter mom, big time. But she was telling them some medical problem that she had, and they gave her morphine. They gave her a little shot of morphine into her IV drip or whatever, her IV. And so that's part of what they're suing the hospital for, saying that the morphine that they gave her for her back pain unalived the baby and caused her to go into labor. When, her lawyer's stretching, like he's pulling, grabbing, reaching for whatever. I forget what that's called. Reaching for straws. Is that it? Something. I forget. But I just don't think that any of these girls are going to get any time. I think if they get any, it'll be like 5 years, 3 years, 18 months plus probation. I think that's what these babies' lives mean to the system. Like, it's our politicians that are writing all these laws. I mean, and they say, well, if you don't like your laws, you reach out to your politicians. Who? Tell me who? Who's going to go address some of these laws? Like these pedo laws that let Patrick Little get off with pleading guilty to 2 children, or being charged with 2 children. I think he was pled guilty to 2 of them too, just 1 count for each child. No prison time, none whatsoever. He got 5 years house arrest and work release. And we know exactly what house arrest in Eastern Kentucky looks like. Absolutely makes me sick. Now, which Kentucky politicians are responsible for those sentencing laws? That's what I want to know. Do any of you guys out there, could any of you all find out which one of our politicians, or which ones, plural, because I know that's a group effort. I want to know who's responsible for our child essay. Y'all know what I'm saying? Laws, rule, or sentencing laws.
Clean it up.
Well, see, she was cleaning it up first, so she was in there. So she said she actually needed here because one of our other guys arrested her. And she said, hey, she needs to go to the bathroom. And so they had her go to the bathroom. About 10 minutes later, they went to knock on the door, but she didn't come out. So they're like, hey, are you okay? Check on her. She's like, yeah.
Guys, they said that it looked like she ripped the umbilical cord with her teeth like a wild animal, that she was ripping that thing with her teeth, trying to get it ripped apart, that she had slung it all over the walls. It was everywhere.
They won't come out. They were like, I guess 10 minutes. And then they said, well, open the door. And then when she opened the door, there was blood and shit everywhere. So they called housekeeping. They didn't know the baby was in there.
The baby's still here.
Yeah, there's the trauma one. That's why I
Probably need to go get blood and stuff out the truck.
But yeah, like I said, the housekeeper cleaned up the floor and everything first. And then when she put all her stuff into the trash can, that's when she felt how heavy it was. And then she looked into it. That's what she saw. You said you're looking for someone to talk to your mom?
Yes.
Okay.
Where I'm going.
Yeah, no, she already knows. Detective.
Is she going?
Yeah, she should be. Detective's up there talking with her right now. So, do you have any other questions for us? I'll see how these went.
You'll see it. They've got the camera footage of the hospital where you see her run down the hallway, and she runs down a hallway like away from everybody else. So there wasn't nobody up there where that bathroom was. And she ran up there and went in and locked the door. It was like a handicap bathroom. And she locked the door, and the nurses had to come and knock on her door and knock on her door. They had to threaten to go get the maintenance people to come back with the key to open the door. And she didn't unlock that door until they were putting the key in the door, and they were getting ready to open it on her. But they should have done it. Now, if I have any criticism of the hospital, I think that's where it's at. They took way too long to open that door. And then they didn't even find the baby for like another 20 minutes. That baby had been tied up in that bag, airtight. There wasn't nothing. The baby was gone.
I hear you. Yeah.
on those crimes.
It's like motel owners put the chiller truck up on your ass. You know, just wait around water. And so the truck was running.
Hit that like button for us.
But then the jacks were, they had to drive down too. The jacks frozen up. They couldn't put them in. Oh yeah.
Okay, Alexi, so obviously you're getting transport, okay? So you're not detained no more. The detectives will be contacting you, okay? So they'll get a hold of you. So let me get your number real quick. Okay, give me a good phone number for you.
Okay. We don't have to finish watching that. Let's go back out. Let's see. Here it is. Just a second, let's pull up this other part to it. This is the boyfriend.
Is this your family?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Detective Gonzalez, Strategic Police Department. What questions do you have for me right now?
What's gonna go on? Like, what can I be with her?
She's getting life flighted out right now.
Okay.
So they're taking her right now.
Okay.
I haven't spoke to her at all.
Okay. So like, what's gonna go on? Like, what's gonna happen with her? Like.
So she's gonna get treatment before we even talk to her because she needs to be stabilized. So that's why she's getting life flighted out.
Okay.
Once she gets stabilized, we'll try and talk to her. The baby's gonna go up north for autopsy. More likely it'll be done within the next day.
Is she gonna get taken after like she's released? How?
Get what?
Like, are y'all gonna take her to custody or anything like that? Like,
that depends on what the DA finds. We have to wait for the autopsy to come back to see what happened. Because right now with how everything happened, we're going to do an investigation, get more information from the OMI, Office of Medical Investigator up north. And with that, we present that to the DA, see what the DA wants to do with charges, if any at all.
Okay. Okay. So they already took her out.
No, she's getting life flight. She's right now being set up to go to the.
What happens?
What do you mean?
Before the DA makes a decision or that?
It should be pretty soon. They make a decision. Because with the age of the decedent, they usually expedite autopsy reports and such. With normal people that pass naturally at home, takes a couple months for us to get reports back. Stuff like this, we'll get it back pretty soon.
Okay.
So
Stillborn, they don't know.
we don't know. That's why he'll be going up north.
No, it was not stillborn. It was put in a bag and it was wrapped, twisted. She twisted the bag like you would twist your garbage up, so if it doesn't have those drawstrings and you got a big bag, I don't know if you guys do it or not, but I try my best to twist it and then I tie it in a knot. And that's what she did. She twisted that baby and then folded it up underneath it so that baby could not escape, which it was a newborn. It couldn't move. It could not move. I just do not like. Do you know that sometimes, and I'm ashamed to admit this, but sometimes if I see it, like if there's a spider that gets wet or even an ant, I've even done it with an ant, man. I hate to admit it, but I have. They get wet like on the sink and I see an ant or a spider or something and a couple of its legs will get wet and it starts acting like it's gonna die. And I'll say, every once in a while, I'll be like, man, I'm going to let you live today. I'm going to let you live. I just can't kill it. I just can't. Spiders, ants, stuff like that. I just can't. Now, sometimes I can. But if they're not bothering me, I usually just leave them alone. Now, that's mommy in me. We don't have any mice because my cats, I've got enough cats. I've never seen a mouse. A baby. We're talking about a newborn infant child. And now listen. A lot of these people that pro-choice people, a lot of them ain't never done it themselves. And you ask them, I will. I have. I do. Have you ever terminated a pregnancy before? Well, no, I haven't. I've never made that choice for myself. Well, if you've never done it for yourself and you don't know how much emotional damage that it does to these young girls, how much spiritual damage it does to these young girls who actually go through with that decision. It is not void of consequences. No, I'm sorry, it's not. And then a lot of them end up, self-loathing, depression, the big S word. There's a whole lot. Substance abuse, alcohol. There's not many of these. I mean, we see a whole lot of them, but still, according, compared to the population, we don't have nearly as many of these. Most women at least have some kind of a maternal instinct somewhere, even if you've never felt it until that baby's in your arms. I never held a baby in my life until I held my own. And I was 8. I was a month away from being 20 when I had my first son. So I was the same age. Never entered my mind. And my belly was so big the day that I walked in the hospital to have him that there's absolutely no way. There's no way that she did not know she was pregnant.
Has y'all's information been taken yet?
He took my driver's license. He took her driver's license.
Okay.
My phone number. My phone number. Yeah.
So, even though she's of age, if she's not available to be contacted, can we put you down as next of kin for all mine? Okay. And you'd be grandmother?
I'm mom.
So you'd be
I'm
the
her mom.
you'd be the descendant's grandmother.
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
So that's her boyfriend.
Mr. Boyfriend, do you have a driver's license? No.
They had all been together all day. The boyfriend had been with her all day long. And she was crying about her back hurt.
And is the address on you current on the driver's license? Okay. Because determining on what all my does, if she's still in medical, and they do release the infant back, it'll have to be released somebody. That'll be up to all my who they determine next kin is. Maybe the parents, but maybe you. Okay, so that's where we can get everyone's information.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna run your name through the special on radio. Okay, so I'm just gonna call them.
They always say the baby wasn't breathing. They think that's going to get them out of a red rum charge, which it does. They don't never get charged with red rum, like a first degree red rum. No, they charge them with like manslaughter or something. Makes my blood just boil.
Hey, Houston's off 7:15. Are you on APD? For the AGH call, can you run 1 OLN out of New Mexico? It's 517. Should be. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Oh, you as well. Thank you.
Could I, as soon as they're done with her, like if everything's okay, will I be able to bring her home with me?
Yes.
I will?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know where she'll be going.
With me? To
No.
my house. I mean, like.
When she gets lightheaded.
okay.
I don't know which one.
They told me Loveless
Regional Center.
Yeah.
Loveless Regional?
Yes. Yeah.
That's my card.
Okay.
Keep a hold of me.
Okay.
So if she stays at Loveless.
You're going to hear Mom in a second. And when I said she gives her daughter this big excuse, you're going to hear it. She says, oh, my husband whooped on me when I was pregnant, and it caused her to have some kind of a hip problem and this and that. Listen, I'm all about victims. I'm all about, no DV, no, don't. But I can't help it. I'm sorry. But right now, I think is the worst time for her to stand here and try to give her daughter this big excuse. I think Mom shows her true colors in these videos. And then whenever they do go to arrest the daughter and take her to jail, Mom is a witch to the cops who come out there. And I thought that the cops that go out there and arrest her were more than respectful. And they gave her every courtesy that she could possibly have been given. And so Mom's a piece of work. But y'all know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Look at me and my mom. Like I'm a carbon copy of my mom. So I'd say Ola Lexi is a carbon copy of her mom.
And then she gets released, she can go back to y'all.
Okay.
And I'll be in touch with you to try and set up an interview with her.
Okay.
Would y'all mind talking to me later when y'all are okay?
Yeah, I was with her. I know she talked to him for a while on the phone, and then she came to me, so I've been with her the rest of the time.
Today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so what did she come here for that she told you?
She told me she had back pain.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Has she been having back pain before?
Yeah, she's pain for her and her hips is no. I mean, she was born with like her. I don't know. It's like crooked.
Her spine?
Okay, because my ex-husband, he hit me. He beat me whenever I was pregnant with her.
Mm-hmm.
So she was early. So she had some problems with her hips. Like I always had to take her to chiropractor to get adjusted. because she couldn't use, like, she was always getting constipated, like she had to get lined up, whatever. So, I mean, I've been taking her to chiropractor because I always thought, well, this time, I didn't know. I honestly didn't know she was pregnant. I didn't know.
With her belly
I
up
just
here.
thought, like she said, I had back pain more. My hips are hurting me. I think I need to go to the chiropractor. I said, okay, let's go tomorrow. But
That's mom's fault. That's mom. But she was 19. That's Alexi's fault. It's Alexi's fault. She was over the age of 18. It would have been her fault if she was under the age of 18. But if she was with mom all day and mom has as much power and control as what it looks like she has,
it was like in really a lot of pain, and
let me
When did
stick
it
my
start?
nose up.
Like the pain.
Yes.
Yesterday she said it was really bad, that her hips were hurting and her back. And then last night we're on the phone together and she said her hips were hurting bad. I asked her if anything else was hurting. And she said just everything. And she went to sleep.
but she's a cheerleader too, so she's big in cheers. They have cheer competition. She works out. I mean,
And she's been active this whole time?
Yeah, she's been active this whole time.
Now, how many of you guys out there have been pregnant? Could you have been doing cheer competitions at full term? Now, I was wearing high heels the day that I gave birth to Gregory, and he was 9.5 weeks or 9.5 months. So, I know that we are not fragile when we're, full term pregnant. But I don't think I would have been out on the floor doing the splits, and I don't think that I would be able to do backflips and those kinds of gymnastics type stuff if I was 9.5 months pregnant. And I guarantee you that she wasn't doing those things anymore that she was doing before she got pregnant on the cheerleading floor. They all should have known. They all did know. This is the worst denial I've ever seen.
And who does she live with?
With me.
So
Her
she's,
parents. Oh, that's, yeah, 'cause she's in school. She's a senior. So,
and how long have you all been together?
Almost 2 years.
2 years? Okay. So not trying to be rude, but you are more than likely would be the father? Okay.
yes.
It's,
No, we get it. We get
sometimes
it.
it happens.
Why is she laughing? Why would she have laughed at that? You couldn't talk about it before you took her to the hospital to hide the baby she just unalived? Shows her maturity.
So with everything that comes with that, gets a little shaky when it's newborn, stuff like that. But with like death certificates, stuff like that, interpreting his sons, if you choose to use them, we'll be the ones to help you get those. Other than that, because that's all really you'd need, and they can help you with the afterlife care. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all have any questions for me right now? Okay.
Hey, Carpenter, it could sweatshirts and baggy pants, but that's not what she was wearing. She was wearing a tight cheerleading outfit with a little bitty short skirt with her butt hanging out the bottom, with a really tight cheerleading sweater on, with her belly sticking out to here, with the rest of her body was skinny. Okay, she was a thin girl. very thin girl before she got pregnant, and she was a very thin girl after she had this baby. When she was 9 months pregnant and gave birth to it, she was skinny everywhere except for her belly. There was no mistaking that she was pregnant. There just wasn't. And you're going to see it. We're going to see it. You're going to see it.
You have my number. You can, that is my work phone if you want to text me
Okay.
or call me. I have my email on there as well, okay?
Fine.
Sergeant and I got your information right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me give you my
Pinocchio.
card too so you can give me a call, all right? Just because I want to make sure everyone stays updated, okay? Like I said, I don't know. There will be charges that will be up to the district attorney's office, if any are even done, okay?
Okay.
It's too early in the game to know right now.
Okay.
So we're just going to do the initial investigation with, I was on the phone with our dispatch, so all mine will be here in 45 minutes. It's one of their field agents.
Okay.
And they're the ones, so in the state of Mexico, we're not allowed to touch anybody that's passed.
Okay.
They're called a decedent. They're the only ones allowed to actually handle somebody. So we wait for them to even do anything. So hospitals allowed to do it because they do care, life-saving efforts. Whenever life-saving efforts cease, no one's allowed to touch them. So we have to wait for them to show up
Okay.
before we even start that side of stuff, okay?
Okay.
So she's getting life flighted out. We'll talk to her later.
Okay.
That's if she even wants to talk to us, if she chooses to, because she still has her constitutional rights.
Should I get a lawyer for her? Should I?
Yeah.
You can, that's your choice. I can't tell you what to do. That's something that y'all as a family have to talk about, okay?
Well, why we would talk to her over Roswell?
Yes.
They said when they interviewed her friends at school, she had already named the baby to her friends at school. She had already named the baby. So that she knew she was pregnant.
All right, here they won't let her.
Yeah, they wouldn't
She's
let us.
Yeah.
she should be gone by now.
Okay.
So that's with the helicopters coming in. They want nobody near it, so that way you can't
Yeah.
mess with anything. Because if any of their vitals go off, they'll stop it,
Yeah.
which could be an issue for if they need care immediately. So that's why whenever someone gets life flighted, they just cut off every contact with the family
Okay.
because they're making sure she's getting set up to get transported out.
Okay.
So that's why they tell you leave.
Yeah.
It seems
Okay.
very harsh, but it's because with the flight nurse, the flight doctor, they have to make sure everything stays constant.
Okay.
So she should be gone by now because she was already getting prepped whenever I came out to y'all.
Okay.
So with that, like I said, she'll be leaving. We'll stay here with the decedent and go from there, okay?
Okay.
So once she gets to...
Let's see.
I've never seen anything like that, and I pray to God I never see it again.
It's what seasoned medical professionals called.
We'll just watch the parts that we haven't seen here.
She gave birth.
When I went in there, it was a gory, bloody massacre.
Body camera video shows police officers speaking with medical staff who worked the night Treviso was admitted into the ER.
She said she needed to go have a bowel movement, and that's kind of when the whole thing happened.
Hospital surveillance video shows Treviso leave her patient room at 1:38 a.m., waddling toward the bathroom while clutching her back. Treviso remains in the bathroom for 19 minutes as multiple people check on her.
I knocked on the door and I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yes, I'm fine. I'm just having a hard time going to the bathroom," is what she replied. So I was like, okay.
At some point, I went and kind of checked on her, knocked on the door, seen if she needed anything. She denied. She said she didn't need anything.
Did you hear anything?
I didn't hear anything.
Flushing it, toilet flush?
Yes. After a while, I started hearing. So I probably checked on her 2 to 3 times. I'm not exactly sure. And then I just kept hearing paper towel dispenser and flushing and like the water running. And I knocked again. Did she need anything? Denied anything. And then eventually it got to a point where I said, you need to come out. And I asked the clerk to get the key to unlock the door, because obviously she locked the door to go to the restroom. And whenever we finally had the key to unlock it, she opened it and just kind of walked out. And
did she say anything at that
she didn't
point?
say anything. She was just looking kind of straight past me and went back to the room.
Surveillance video captures that moment as Treviso leaves the bathroom and heads back to the patient room. It was then that hospital staff got a look at the bloody bathroom for the first time.
And all I saw was like blood everywhere, like on the walls, on the toilet. It just looked like a horror film.
Police speak to multiple people who saw the bathroom, describing fresh blood on the walls, floor, and near the toilet.
The toilet's right here where you're at, and then the sink's right here. It was like up this way, blood splatter.
What?
Like,
In your line of work, what would cause that kind of splatter?
I think something that got pulled out or ripped. Like if you rip something and blood just went, it was like once you see the photo, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's just.
So like you say, like rip, like something went like that?
Yeah, like when you rip something, or if you cut something and you go, like you swing your hand and blood just splatters.
Okay, so
that's how it looked.
Oh, so this was fresh to you?
Yes, this blood was fresh. You could even smell it.
We didn't know what this blood was from. We were a little concerned that maybe she had, known that we were gonna figure it out and that she might have harmed herself or something in the restroom. So the doc wanted to go check her, but obviously that wasn't the case.
Unclear as to what had happened, other nursing staff care for Treviso, believing she had a miscarriage.
Oh, she came out of the restroom. There was a little trail of blood from the bathroom back to her room. We went to her room. I went to get her undressed. The doctor came in, explained to her that she had a miscarriage. Her and her mom had a back and forth about it.
The doctor said she had a miscarriage?
Yeah.
Okay.
She said it seems essentially like, I'm not sure the exact words, so it was a few months ago, but she said, it seems that you've suffered from a miscarriage, which didn't seem totally abnormal. I've seen awful miscarriages before that are very bloody.
Right.
And so.
Was she bloody?
Mm-hmm.
Like
and then
her legs?
Yeah, she had blood all down her legs, and then there was like blood in the bathroom everywhere. So.
Where exactly was the blood and how much?
It was a good amount. It was like on the floor.
Minutes later, cleaning staff arrived to wash up the bathroom.
I was called and to go clean the patient's bathroom in ER around, maybe 2 o'clock or so. I think it was the time, I'm not too sure. So when I went in there, it was a gory, bloody massacre mess.
Could you describe it if possible?
Yeah, there was blood everywhere. There was blood on the floor, on the wall.
Do you remember which wall?
The one behind the toilet, and then the one on the side right here. There's the one where the toilet sits, back of that.
Yeah.
And then on the side.
Where the call button is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And on the floor, everywhere.
After cleaning the entire bathroom twice, the cleaner grabbed the trash bag to toss it away. That's when she discovered the newborn baby.
When I went to go through the trash, I felt that when I picked up the trash and I looked in it, there was trash in it. But I knew that didn't feel like when I picked it up, it was some weight. So I thought it was the trash bags, because we put the trash bags on the bottom. And so I started getting the trash out. And then when I did that, I seen that there was a baby in there. And that's when I freaked out and I called Lori and HT, or the nurses up front. And because there was a baby in the trash. And the baby, when I looked at it, the baby was wrapped up like in like at the bottom of the trash can, and with trash on top of it, in a trash bag.
And so how did you see it, like as soon as you picked it up?
No, after I picked up the trash bag that was on top,
okay,
where they were throwing the trash at, when I picked that up to change it, that's when I noticed that there was, when I seen the baby.
You describe the baby?
Yeah, he was about like that big. He had hair, and he was like purplish, but still not like pink. I don't know how to describe it. He was like, he wasn't bruised or nothing like that, and he was like purple, pink skin type color.
The cleaner then calls for a nurse who describes the disturbing moment the infant was discovered.
And then when I picked it up, that's when I noticed it even more, because all I saw was black and purple. But once we picked it up, like the bag suctioned to his face. And that's when I yelled for my charge nurse, which was HT. And I told him, hey, she put her baby in the trash can. So I handed the baby to him, and he took off to the trauma room and opened up the bag. And then that's when we went and got Dr. Vasquez.
Police then hear from the nurse in charge, who says it was clear early on that the newborn was dead.
I go in the bathroom and she goes, something's in the trash can. I'm like, I looked in there, there's a clean liner. I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, pick it up. I picked it, I could feel the weight. I knew then we had a serious problem. I just grabbed the trash can and went right across the hall into trauma 2. The liner was pulled out, but there was another trash bag in there in the bottom, but it was all it was rolled up. So I had to tear it apart. And then, of course, I saw the baby in there. So I pulled the baby out, got him on the bed, checked for signs of life. There was absolutely no life whatsoever.
By the time they found that baby, I mean, it was like 30 minutes had passed. There was no way to save that child. Where she put him in that bag, there was no saving him, you know. If she had put him in the garbage can and just laid him in there and he didn't have anything, you know, around his face to suffocate him, he probably would have been just fine. She intentionally red-rummed that child, and she should have to pay the price for it. I don't understand why that child's life is worth less than anybody else. You know, like if it would have been a 5-year-old child or older, or heck, even a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old child or older, she'd have got life. But because it was an infant, why is that worth less time? It makes no sense to me.
I immediately came out of there after I did that, went into the room where she was performing the vaginal exam, and I immediately told her, you have to come out now. And she came out, and we went into trauma 2, and she reassessed the baby. At that time, between me and Chris and her, we determined, you know, there was no reason for us to begin any life saving. The baby was completely gone.
Another nurse recalls the same moments.
And could you tell if the baby was alive or
they did not look alive. They did not look alive. They looked. But also, I think the time had passed since she left the bathroom and it being in the bag, you know, it was just.
How long do you think that was?
Maybe like 10 or 15 minutes. I just have a guess. I don't know. We brought the baby up. We called the doctor, obviously, out of the room from her exam, and we came in, kind of. Doc assessed the baby, and you know, basically determined it was not viable to completely work the baby and all of that stuff.
That nurse tells officers he believes Treviso knew she was pregnant and wanted to hide it from medical staff.
It seemed like we were being just deceived from the beginning, but that's just my take on it. It seemed like she was very manipulative with us, and it was at least what it seemed like to me. She didn't want you to discover, you know, that she was pregnant, and she wore really baggy clothing. And she wouldn't sit still for you. I'm sure she was very uncomfortable too, but yeah, she wouldn't allow you to do it.
It seemed like she'd been trying to hide this pregnancy from her mother for some time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know you're pregnant, you're not going to continue taking birth control pills. But if you're trying to hide it, you might start taking weight loss medications. That's just kind of what it seemed like in my head.
Other staff described the lengths Treviso allegedly went to keep her pregnancy and birth a secret.
The umbilical cord looked like an animal had tore it apart. Like, you know, have you ever eaten string cheese?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when you twist it, that's how the bottom of the umbilical cord looked. And I just remember it caught my eye, and I was like, God. I was like, this chick really ripped this thing apart.
After this, medical staff call the police and alert Treviso about their discovery.
I'm sorry about this, but in terms of delivering a baby and it looked like you tried to hide it, we do have to have the police involved.
And nothing was crying. It came out with nothing.
And then I went in there to talk to the patient
Nothing.
and
Nothing.
asked her why was the baby in the trash can.
And what did she say?
She said that it just came out of her and she didn't know what to do.
And
She said, nothing was crying. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing was crying. She's not handicapped either. The first time I saw that and I saw her do that, I thought, is she mentally handicapped? No, she's not. Not at all. And when you look at any of the like the pictures and the home videos that I've seen that have come out since this happened, you never see her do that in any of the other videos or pictures or anything. So I think it's all an act. I got caught.
said, did your baby take at least one breath when it first happened? Did it take at least one breath, or was it not breathing? And then she kind of looked at me in the face and the eyes, and she was like, well, can I tell you? And I said, tell me what? And she said, so I've been having this bad abdominal pain, she said, and we came here to the ER, and when they brought me back here to this room, I felt like I needed to go poop. She said, and I asked if I could go to the bathroom. She said, and so when they said, yeah, that I could go to the bathroom, she said, when I sat on the toilet, she said, it just all fell out. And she said, but when I had it in my arms, it wasn't breathing, it wasn't moving. And so
Call the hospital. They're right
of course,
outside.
you want to be very, very judgmental at that time, and you have to buy.
No, no, no. She's not getting no pass. She does not get a pass. She was in a hospital. She was in the hospital. She was over 18. Mommy didn't have to know. She didn't have to have mommy come in there with her. She could have gotten help if the baby wasn't crying and it wasn't breathing. Open the damn door and let the doctor have it. No. No, no. And if any jury gives that family a dime from that hospital, shame on them.
Your tongue sometimes, but you know, my first reaction was like, I wanted to say, hey, well, then why wouldn't you call us for help?
She did.
But I didn't.
Well, and can you imagine? The boyfriend actually went to prom with her. She just unalived your own kid, dude. That was your child that she just unalived in the bathroom. And now you're going to prom with her. You don't have any fears at all of marrying this chick and having more kids? I mean, it just makes me want to fall out of my chair. I cannot with the stupidity.
She said, so he wasn't moving, he wasn't breathing. So I just placed him in there.
Nurses who spoke with Treviso after the baby was discovered say she never asked about him. Instead, they say she was more concerned that she would get in trouble with her mother.
Did they have any comments?
Not one.
Really?
I was really surprised. Not one person asked me about the baby. If it was alive, if it was dead, if it was a boy, if it was a girl. No one asked me anything. Not even, she didn't even ask. No, she didn't ask. The only thing she started doing was crying and started talking about she didn't know what to do. Not one. I've never seen in I've delivered multiple babies and I've seen multiple miscarriages, and I've never seen a reaction like that. And I don't even know what to say about that. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
How would you describe the reaction?
I think there was no emotion except for herself, and she really wasn't even crying tears. She was just, and then one thing she was upset about was that I think she was going to be in trouble with her mother.
She didn't say anything about what had happened. She was just essentially worried that she was just going to get in trouble.
So that's what I mean. Were those the questions she was asking?
Like so, what's going to happen to me? Like that kind of thing.
Did she ever ask about the baby?
No.
Not once.
She essentially was scared. She was worried that she was going to get in trouble. She did have a back and forth with her mother. That was just
Well, Miss Paula, is there any possibility that women don't receive jail time during incidents like these because of hormones being crazy and their emotional state kind of being all over the place? I don't know. Well, Miss Paula, my emotional state is just off the wall right now because I think I'm in menopause. I'm having some menopause, like short tempers and freakouts and stuff. Last year or the year before that, it was hot flashes, and then my hot flashes went away. But this year, I can feel it. My emotional state is just not great. It's not exactly real stable right now. But if I did what she did in my menopausal state, they would give me life. They would put me under the jail. So I don't know. I think it's more their age. I think that they get a slap on the wrist because they're young, and they either feel sorry for them or they think that they're privileged. You know, privilege came more with race, but now I think privilege comes more. I mean, don't get me wrong, there still is privilege in race, but I think it's more in financial status now. I think it's between the haves and the have-nots, you know, the rich and the poor. There's more poor than there are rich. And I think a lot of that privilege is financial now. But I don't know. I don't think that newborn baby's life should be worth any less than what they would have given them for taking somebody's grandmother, you know?
about like they had said, oh, the mom was upset because she had had sex and hadn't told her. So they were going back and forth on that, and then she was just denying it, which was a little out of the, wasn't really deniable at that point in time.
Right.
So the patient was denying having sex at this point to her mom.
Yeah, she was trying to state that she was still a virgin.
After she came in from the bathroom.
Others believe Treviso.
So she was still trying to tell her mommy that she was a virgin after she had unalived the baby in the bathroom. Wow. But still, you know, mom's a dumbass. Forgive me, Lord. Forgive me, Lord. But mom is a dummy. Mom could have prevented this. Mom could have and should have prevented this. They're both guilty. Both of them.
Knew she was up to no good.
She definitely knew what she was doing and what was doing was wrong, because of the way she was talking to me, you know, just stating I didn't realize I was pregnant and, but I'm taking birth control, so, I mean, she was panicked, but, I didn't see her being in a state of mind where she did not know what she was doing.
Multiple hospital staff members say the incident is not one they will soon forget.
When there's like 1 or 2 things in the wastebasket, I usually pick it up and take it out, but I didn't that night. And then, like, I've been kicking myself on this because I feel like, if I would have just taken it out, I would have seen it.
Well, no one prepares for that type of thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Most people don't act like that. So don't blame yourself for it.
Yeah.
Because it's not a natural thing to do.
I mean, it's just hard because I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother. And I've dealt with death before, but never like this.
Right.
Like it was horrible.
I'm just going to tell you this. I've never, ever seen a reaction like that girl. I don't even know what to say about it. There was zero emotion. I don't even know what to say. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen women that are only married or not married, but pregnant for 6 weeks and they lose their baby and they're a mess. You know what I mean? That girl went into that bathroom, made no sounds at all, and the baby came out of her. And I don't even know how she functioned that way to do what she did and with no emotion. I've never seen anything like it.
And it was a pretty good sized baby. Pretty good size.
It looked term to me.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it was term. I can't tell you that was, but the only thing that upsets me the most is I understand she was scared, and I think her mother had a big.
I just think that if you're in a hospital and the baby comes out of you and it ain't breathing, all she had to do was open the door. You don't put a baby who is having a medical episode. If it was, I don't think it was, but it could have been, who knows? But you don't wrap it in a garbage bag to where it can't get no help and hide it in the bottom of a garbage can. I don't give her no passes. Some of y'all might give her a pass. I ain't giving her none.
Big dynamic on her, and I understand that. I mean, I think her mother was probably pretty controlling. I don't know that. I'm just speculation. But she gave me no chance to save that baby. I had no chance, and that's not what I do. My job is to save lives, and I had no chance on that baby. She gave me no chance. And we are a facility that you can drop the baby off, no questions asked. You can just leave the baby and go. I don't care, as long as you bring the baby to a safe. We are one of those type of hospitals, so it's hard to fathom what was going on in her mind.
Okay. Now, we're going to move on to this next one real quick. This one, I just heard about this one. And this shows you just how callous these girls are. And you're going to hear her, how innocent sounding she tries to be. Students horrifying Plan C text revealed after she gave birth to secret baby that died in her dorm. Okay. We're going to watch the video.
Come to Florida on a partial scholarship to study marine biology. According to police, Moore was pregnant when she arrived on campus, and Moore said she had no idea, but admitted she may have been in denial. And I'll tell you what, reality came crashing down around her when she awoke one morning around 7 a.m., not feeling well, and went to the bathroom. Now, the bathroom was between 2 dorm rooms and was shared by 4 people. That is where authorities say Brianna Moore gave birth to a baby girl. But instead of calling for an ambulance or alerting anyone to what had happened, Moore apparently admitted to police that she sat with the baby for a while in the bathroom before taking a shower and falling asleep for around an hour. She told Tampa police that she believed the baby died not long after it was born. She says she was shocked and panicked and ended up putting the dead child in a trash can. But if Moore had been hoping to keep the birth a secret, that hope was quickly dashed when her roommates discovered the bathroom was covered in blood and the baby's tiny body in the trash. Now, we're going to take a closer look at each step of this investigation. And to do that, I want to welcome criminal defense attorney Michael Gottlieb onto the show. Michael, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me here.
This is a really, really sad case. I mean, whatever way you look at it, baby comes into the world in a traumatic way, didn't survive. Do you see a lot of these kind of cases? And when does it, what does it come down to legally?
So we don't see a lot of these cases. And when you do, it really shocks your conscience of, first of all, how can a young girl from the Bible Belt come to school? She's clearly sexually active.
Now, I'm going to tell you now, I don't like this guy. I do not like what he has to say just about all the way through this. Now, this girl here, whenever they did the autopsy on this baby, it showed that the baby had broken ribs. The baby had, where she had held the baby up against her chest and wrapped her arms around it and squeezed that baby until it couldn't breathe, until it quit crying.
And she's ashamed of that. She doesn't want anybody to know she's pregnant. She's trying to hide it. She really hasn't made any friends. Her suite mates don't really know her, yet everybody suggested, from what I saw, that she at least looked like she was pregnant.
This girl has absolutely zero emotions. You're going to hear her. She talked. We hear her interview in this story.
And here's a girl who's in denial because obviously in the state of Florida, she can't have an abortion. She can't go home. She can't tell her family she wants to have an abortion. So she's having an unwanted pregnancy. She's not properly nourishing this child.
My problem is that we have made it too easy for people not to take responsibility for sleeping around. Keep your legs closed. Keep your zippers up, y'all. If you don't want to get pregnant, we know what causes it. We know what causes pregnancy. Now, people get out there and start hollering that R word, that R word. Well, you look at the data because there's very, very, very few of them getting pregnant from the R word, okay? I'm all about exceptions. If there was some kind of awful thing happen, more power to them. Do whatever it is you need to do. But that is not the case with the majority of society that's doing this, okay? That's not the case. It's just simple facts. They don't want to take responsibility for their own actions. If you lay down with dogs, you get fleas. That's just what happens. You can't go having smacks and think that you're not going to get pregnant.
And it really builds into, what's likely to be, I think, not a murder one or a murder two, but more of a manslaughter type of a prosecution, that she negligently harmed the child.
We all pay, every single one of us pays consequences for our decisions. All of us. I do every single day. I suffer the consequences of decisions that I've made, whether good or bad. We all do. I don't know why some people think that they're so special that they shouldn't have to suffer the consequences that the rest of us have to suffer. And let me just go here too. how many of us women were terrified when we had our first baby? Most of us were scared to death. We weren't confident. We didn't think we were going to be good mothers. Well, some of us didn't. And some thought they were going to be great mothers. But regardless, you know, I don't know. I just think that we should be more responsible for and for our actions. You know, we should be more responsible for our actions. And as parents, we need to be more I don't know what the word I need to say is. Prepare our kids better, maybe. Tell them no sometime. Don't raise them to where they feel like they are invincible and they can just do whatever they please without no consequences. Because then they go out in the real world and they get themselves in big trouble that mommy and daddy can't bail them out of.
And negligently probably killed the child, I
That's
think
all
is
my
the
opinion.
theory that the government's probably going to pursue.
Hey, I want to thank OneSkin for sponsoring today's episode of Sidebar, because let's be honest, being on camera and her roommate wasn't there. According to a report that was submitted to the Hillsborough County prosecutors, when one of the girls next door went into the bathroom later that afternoon, she reportedly saw blood everywhere and was concerned that maybe...
I'm sorry, it slipped my mind what I was going to say. Most of us, our children changed our lives. Like, before I had my boys, I was alone. I was lonely. I was just kind of roaming wherever the wind took me, you know. I didn't have any kind of purpose. I didn't have any kind of life. I was existing. I was not living. I was like these dogs out here. I was just existing in this world. You know, I hadn't found myself. I hadn't found the Lord. I hadn't found nothing yet. I was just a mess. It wasn't until I had my kids, my babies, and it was hard. It was really hard. I had to quit running around. I had to stay home. I had to, for the first time in my life, even though I was almost 40 years old, 35, I still had to learn to stop. I had to stop the cycle. I had to break the cycle. You hear what I'm saying? I had to break that cycle. And my children made me who I am today. But if I hadn't had my children and went through the struggles that I did, it's like the story of the butterfly. The man saw the cocoon and saw the butterfly inside wrestling to try and get out, and he said, "Oh, I'm going to help him." And he took a knife and cut the cocoon open and said, "All right, little buddy, there you go. Go fly away." But the butterfly couldn't fly because when he cut the cocoon open, it took away the strengthening that he had to do with these wings. That's how they strengthen their wings enough to be able to fly. And because that guy did that, the butterfly's wings were not developed enough for it to fly. And it died. It died. So you get the point. A little roundabout way, but did you get the point?
One of her suite mates
If I had not had my babies, if I had just did away with them, I would never have felt the love and the enjoyment that they give me in my life. It's the best thing in the world other than Jesus. Having my children and being a mother is the best thing in this world. How a woman can do that, I don't know. I don't know. How you can live with yourself afterwards. And I really hate to even say that, because I know there's situations that happen. We make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I've been there before, so I can talk about this topic because I've been on all sides of it. I know it. I ain't perfect, honey. I've made a ton of mistakes, but I know what also comes afterward, and I would never in a million years would I ever recommend to another woman to do that. Never. So those women that are out here all pro-choice, recommending, yeah, go ahead. You go ahead, honey. It's your choice. If you want to go down there and do that, you go right ahead. Well, I'm not going to be telling them that. Hell no. Some of us need to be a little bit more responsible about stuff like that, because they have absolutely no idea the hell that they're sending somebody down.
Had a miscarriage. So campus security and EMS personnel, they went to Moore's room in McKay Hall to check on her. Now, Moore reportedly told them that the blood was from her menstruation and that she wasn't pregnant. But the other roommates were all in a group chat together trying to figure out what was going on with Moore, who they told police they weren't that close with. And all three said they had heard a baby crying early Saturday morning, but had thought maybe they were dreaming or that it had come from a video. And police say it wasn't until Sunday that Moore's roommate realized something was very wrong. And this is what the charging documents say about this gruesome discovery. Witness 1 was with a friend, Witness 4, inside the dorm room to gather some items for Witness 1. Well, inside the room, Witness 1 and Witness 4 saw a bloody towel inside the suspect's trash can. Using a styrofoam container, Witness 4 touched the towel and felt something firm inside. Believing this was possibly a baby, Witness 4 picked up the trash bag from the can, walked outside with Witness 1, and alerted campus safety. Witness 1 and Witness 4 were joined by Witness 2 before campus safety arrived. Campus safety opened the towel in the presence of Witness 4 and found a deceased infant. Now, Michael, this gives us a better idea of what was going on, but it also makes it clear that there were multiple people who were witnesses who could be really critical to this case.
Yeah, but I think the case really comes down to, like, if I had to defend her, right? The case is really going to come down to the fact that the doctors already said she's in a dissociative state, right? So a dissociative state or a fugue state, it can rise to the level of an insanity. I mean, here's a young girl, as I said, she's so troubled, so traumatically affected by the fact that she's pregnant. She doesn't know what to do with the baby. It sounds like she's considered giving the child away. She really hasn't considered, nor is she mentally mature enough.
Well, when our daughters and sons, but when our daughters are being raised in really liberal households, you know, if your mother is a raging liberal, if your aunts or cousins or, you know, whoever your family is, if they're very liberal in their way of thinking when it comes to this topic, then you tend to be, you know, we are our parents' children. So as we grow up, we tend to take on these ways of thought, right? But the heart, what the mind says is different than what the heart says. Like, God knows our hearts. There ain't none of us perfect. You know, the devil can get to us through our mind, and he does all the time. But God is the one that knows our hearts. And so sometimes our hearts and our heads don't always, you know, click. Sometimes our head's thinking one thing and our heart's thinking something completely different or the opposite, you know. And we can make mistakes out there listening to our parents. You know, if our parents steer us in a certain direction, we can listen to them and think that it's no big deal, or you know, think that this is what I need to do. And then, you know, it's like theory and practice are two completely different things. You know, the thought of it may not be as bad as the actual going through it. You know, like the grass ain't always greener on the other side type thing, only different. If y'all can follow what I'm trying to say.
To consider proper childbirth. So she's in this sort of state of denial, disassociating with the fact that her own body is pregnant. I don't know if a lot of people will respond to that, you know, in a jury, but she does have a potential defense. I don't know that it rises to the level of insanity. So you'd really have to go for what we call a jury pardon.
So like jury nullification, you're talking about,
Correct.
basically? Okay.
Yeah.
But that's not, you can't argue that. You're not supposed to argue.
I'm not nullifying her charges if I'm on that jury. And I don't think that we have as many bra burning, you know, women's lib, you know, I just don't think that that's our generation anymore. That might have been in the 60s, but that's not, it wasn't my generation. And I'm almost 50. So the ones that are younger than me, I sure don't think they are all about women's liberal. They have absolutely no idea what that even means. I think our society has really kind of gotten dumbed down over the last several decades. And we're just not in the same place that we were. But we've got all the same politicians that are in place from back then. Like Joe Biden was in office back in the 60s, wasn't he? Like we've got all these people that are 80s and 90s still holding on to them positions. So hopefully they'll all kind of natural selection, they'll all die off, and we'll be able to get some new people into these political positions that are younger and that have a whole different way of looking at things.
Argue that.
Not supposed to argue that, but what you have to do, it's the art of mitigation. As you're arguing for her and you're arguing about where she came from, coming from the Bible Belt, you know, and you kind of have to mix the politics of, you know, pro-life versus pro-choice into all this, and how her, you know, by the time she realized she was pregnant, it was beyond 6 weeks and her back was up against the wall, and, you know, that kind of thing. And, and look, there's going to be a lot of people who say she should have had the baby, dropped it off at a fire station, right? That's already come up.
There's a difference between being a raging women, you know, you all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the extreme. So don't get offended. I'm talking about the extreme on both sides. We've got extreme on both sides. This ain't no party thing, but this is a very serious topic, and it's an upsetting one.
In the analysis of the case, but
well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because she did at least 2 interviews with police. And the first was inside a police interview room. And we obtained audio recordings of that interview, which took place after detectives went over Moore's Miranda rights with her. And she agreed to talk to them. Take a listen.
Can you tell me about the baby?
The baby?
Listen, you're very smart. I know this. You're a biology person, okay? So you know all that, and you know about DNA, and you know all those things, okay? We have a very young baby right now, right outside your room. You had quite the ordeal. It sounds like yesterday morning in the bathroom for a few hours, okay? Listen, we're not judging at all on this, okay? People can get in over their heads sometimes. They're not sure what to do, okay? But just let's just be honest, okay?
Basically, first of all, I did not even know that I was pregnant.
Okay.
And then I just woke up not feeling good yesterday morning. So I went to the bathroom. I was puking, whatever. And then, yeah. But after like a few seconds, it was dead.
How long did the baby cry for? Because I know all the roommates and suite mates all heard the baby crying. How long?
I would say like 5 seconds maybe.
5 seconds of crying?
Something around that ish.
Okay. Did you take the baby back to bed for you for a short time period?
I just stayed in the bathroom.
You just stayed in the bathroom?
Now, Moore seemingly admitted to the detectives that she hadn't had her period in about a year, but says she attributed that to the fact that she had stopped using a birth control patch. So the detectives know that this is a very delicate situation, but they need details from Moore about what happened.
So you went to the bathroom and obviously had a baby. Did you deliver the placenta as well?
Yes.
Okay, you're sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure. Something else after the baby came out?
Yeah.
And something, pretty good amount of something?
Yeah.
Okay, it's important for your health on that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. I am worried about you a little bit, okay? So.
Well, we know we don't need the old ones to die, but it seems like that's the only way they give up their position is after they die. They will not let go of it and resign, even if they're in a nursing home. They just won't let go of them. And listen, anybody that gets all offended over what I said, big surprise. I've been a registered Democrat all my life. So I can say the word liberal. It's not a bad word. But there are extreme on both sides of the aisle. And I've already told you I never voted straight party. I've always voted all over the place. But for who was the best for the job, or at least who I thought would be.
So you had the baby, and the baby cried for how long do you think?
Just a few seconds, not long at all.
Not long at all? So the baby cried for a short time period. And you sure it wasn't any? Now here's the thing, the medical examiner is going to be able to tell a lot of things. Your honesty right now is very, very important, okay?
Okay, so I took a shower. Well, I sat in the shower. I didn't really like wash anything. But I just sat in the shower.
Shower on or off?
On.
Okay.
And then I think I got out and I sat there for a little bit. Sat there for a little bit. Tried to wipe up some blood. And then yeah, I just kind of sat there. Just, yeah.
What after you sat there, what did you do then?
Well, it wasn't moving, so I felt for a heartbeat, and I didn't feel one.
Where did you feel?
Like right here.
Okay, on the chest?
Yeah, and then it wasn't moving, and I got scared.
She's lying. She's lying, and you know why I know she's lying? Because her roommates heard the baby crying. before she smothered it. But they didn't know where the baby was coming from, where the cries were coming from. They thought it was just they were hearing things because there wasn't nobody in there had a baby. But oh, surprise!
And yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what did you do after that?
I sat the towel on the floor in my room, and I went to sleep because I was tired and I hadn't slept well, obviously. I took a nap, and then when I got up, I just completely did not know what to do.
Michael, your reaction to what she has to say so far?
You know, my reaction is, here's a young girl who is clearly confused. She's stating she wasn't even certain she was pregnant. Missing her period was not unusual for her because she was no longer on the birth control medication.
Now, see, here, I'm calling the lies out, y'all. I'm stopping it, and I'm calling out the lies. What happens when you stop taking birth control? What happens when you start taking birth control? Usually when you start taking birth control, you stop having a period, or it will shorten your periods. You won't have one near as bad if you have one at all. They may even be irregular. That's what my experience has told me. Whenever you stop taking it, my experience has been that that's when you will start to have your period more regularly again. Now, of course, I'm no doctor, I'm no nurse, but I'm a woman, and I've had female friends, and I've got a mother, you know. I've got a little bit of experience with it. So I think that's BS right there. And I don't think her being young, she's not that young. She ain't that young. And I don't think that being young is an excuse. You guys are going to hear it. We ain't even heard the worst of it yet.
The baby cried for a few seconds and then appeared to her to no longer have a heartbeat. She's confused. She's concerned. She's...
A baby is not going to go from crying to no heartbeat. I don't buy that. I don't buy that for as far as I could. Nope.
Scared, didn't know what to do, stayed in the shower for a long period of time, obviously had just given childbirth, and she's exhausted, and she went to bed. And I think all of that goes to that disassociative state, and she's really just not properly processing what exactly has happened to her.
Let's go back into the interview and see a little bit more.
If you could do it again, what would you do?
Probably when I started feeling bad, probably go to the hospital. But once I thought that I was in labor, I was like, I can't afford, first of all, to have a baby at the hospital. And I was like, I got so panicked, I didn't know what to do. And then I was like, okay, well.
That is BS too. I can't afford to have a baby at the hospital. I don't care if you don't have a dime to your name and you don't have any insurance. We all know that we can go to an emergency room at any time and get care, especially if you're having a baby. They're not going to turn you away.
If it makes it, then I can just take it to the hospital and surrender the baby.
If it makes it, I can just take it to the hospital and surrender it. She didn't have no intentions of keeping this baby. She knew she was pregnant, or why would she be telling this story? Oh, I was going to take it to the hospital and surrender it. You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar. And you're a wolf in sheep's clothing. Yep. You look all sweet and innocent, and on the inside, you a cold-hearted monster.
Maybe, because you can do that, can't you? Like you can take it to a hospital. Yeah, that's what I had in my head that I was gonna do, but then I just didn't. And it just didn't seem alive, so I didn't.
Yeah. Alive in the beginning, but then you think passed shortly after delivering. Is that what your thought process is?
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask why you wouldn't or didn't call 911?
Because I was scared, and I didn't want anyone to know, and it's just, I don't know, I just got scared and panicked, and...
So I'm just gonna hide this pregnancy, have the baby in the bathroom, unalive it, and then throw it in the garbage. How many babies do you think are being thrown in the dang garbage in this world? You think these are just the ones that were found and got caught? Imagine the ones that don't even get caught. My brain, like, I can't even understand how people could even think of doing something like this.
I don't know.
See, Michael, what do you think this line of questioning is trying to establish? I think they're trying to do two things here, right? They're trying to establish, was the baby alive when born? And did you know that? And did you make a conscious decision to either not get help or do something where the baby would not survive? And I'm curious what you're taking away from this line of questioning.
So I think, yeah, obviously, I think the detective is he's got a nice soft demeanor about him. They're not badgering her, and they're trying to find out: is this a murder one? Is it a murder two? Did she intentionally commit this act? She's done some damage to herself, but at the same point in time, she kind of helps herself. She says, if the child was alive, I was going to take him to the hospital and surrender him. You can do that here. She's showing her mental immaturity. She's showing her naivete, if you will. And then she says, but the child didn't seem alive. So I didn't really do that. Again, she hurts herself when she says, well, I didn't want to go to the hospital because I didn't have the money.
Yeah.
But so the cops are, they're trying to hone in on what is the actual charge here, without really doing her damage. I don't see this, because detectives can take a statement in a way to try to sort of paint you in a corner. And I don't really see them doing that here. I see it more as an open-ended kind of what happened. You can maybe sense that they feel for her because this was an emotional journey that she had to go through and really didn't understand what was going on. And again, I'm going to go back to that dissociative state. If the doctors can really sell that, jurors might buy that, and might buy that she was so confused that she really didn't know what she was doing.
No, I don't think jurors are going to buy that. And I think it's because we've seen too many little girls like this. We've been seeing too many of them. There ain't no excuse for what they're doing. There ain't no excuse for what they're doing.
So the detectives, they're skeptical. They're skeptical that Moore could be nearly full term in her pregnancy and have no idea. And Moore told them that she didn't gain much weight, that all of her clothes still fit her. She also said she hadn't had any other symptoms of pregnancy, like morning sickness. She claimed no one approached her about her possibly being pregnant. But according to some of her suite mates, they had concerns that Moore might be expecting. And when an officer watched surveillance footage from inside the dorm, he watched Moore apparently walk down a hallway and noted while she didn't have a large belly, it was obvious she was pregnant.
Just having a hard time getting over the fact that you didn't know you were pregnant. Did you know and you were just embarrassed about it and weren't sure what to do?
No, I had no idea because all my clothes still fit. And then I didn't have like any like sickness or anything. Like I never felt bad.
Did your belly distend? Because your roommate said it looked like a pretty good sized little belly here, and she thought that was odd because you were skinny. She said everywhere else, but had definitely a pronounced belly.
I mean, all my close up that I'd say like, cause I would just assume like it was freshman 15 or whatever. But when I was sitting down, I'd say it was probably about like this much bigger.
Okay.
She's so full of BS because all of you moms out there know when I was 9 months pregnant, I could lay on my back and you have your belly here, and they kick and they kick out this way, and your belly would just I mean, it looked like the movie Alien. Y'all remember that? Look like somebody's inside your belly, stretching, kicking out this way. I was sitting at the kitchen table one night, and we were all just sitting there talking, having a good time, chit-chatting around the kitchen table, and I was sitting in the chair, with my, how you sit when you're pregnant. You kind of spread your legs a little bit, and your belly kind of hangs down, sits there on your legs. And William, my oldest, he kicked me as hard as he possibly could in my belly. And when he kicked me, it threw me out into the floor. He kicked so hard. Now, there's no way. I don't care. The only way I think a baby wouldn't move, you wouldn't feel a baby move inside of you, is if it was stillborn and it was just completely unalive the whole time. I don't know how you couldn't feel the baby stretch its legs, stretch its arms. Y'all know what that's like. And I mean, it feels like the movie Alien. Anybody that don't know that movie, you need to watch it.
So the charging documents indicate that Moore handed over her cell phone for examination and consented to a cheek swab to get a sample of her DNA. Now, Moore later did a second interview a few days later with detectives in a squad car where she was read her Miranda rights and agreed to speak with the officers.
Do you know who the father, have you done any calculations of when you think you would have been pregnant?
Listen to this.
I've done some light ones.
Yeah,
and I think it would have been.
What would be your opinion?
I'm not an expert, okay? Yeah. When I Google, I find 280 days.
Do you know when that would be around?
That would have been in July. Yeah. So 280 days ago today would have been July 24th. Add a couple days to it. You're talking about possibly late July. Mm-hmm. The baby was pretty much full term, and I was saying it wasn't a week early or 10 days early, but
I just don't think that they have any responsibility about sleeping with people. I think that the body count that they call it, their body count these days, are like in the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, like they don't care. It doesn't seem like there's just the morals and the values that we saw in the 50s, kind of built America. The American dream, you had the American values, and I think that like in the 70s and 80s, you started seeing more divorces that happened. And so my generation that grew up in the 80s, we were a bunch of latchkey kids. So you had a bunch of single moms that had to work. So we didn't have any kind of supervision from the time you got out of school until your parents got home from work, whenever that was. And so you ended up having a whole lot of kids who grew up without no supervision. And then you got into like the late 90s and the 2000s. Well, that was when the opioid crisis hit. So then you had a whole generation of children who didn't have any parents. My generation of parents, us as parents, sucked. Like most of my generation either ended up in prison or dead. Very few of us made it. Very few of us made it. I'm no exception. My mom raised my oldest son too. I was just old when I had these two little ones. God gave me a second chance to be a mother. And I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful for that. Gave me a second chance at being a mother. And me and Willie are more like siblings, I guess, than Mom is more, she's both of our mothers, really.
Full term, okay? So it certainly wasn't a month or two early. So it would have been.
Right.
When did you get to Florida?
In August.
In
so
August.
it would have to be at home.
Did anybody have a goodbye?
Bible.
A what?
A goodbye? Did you have a boyfriend up there that you said goodbye to or anything before coming down here?
No, I feel like, hold on. I'm trying to think. I'm sorry. I feel like, is there any way I could look at my phone for this?
Yeah. We'll give your phone back, yeah.
Like she acts like she's slow, is what she acts like she is. And she ain't. She ain't slow. She just does not have any emotional connection to this child at all. She didn't see it as a child.
And in the audio, you can hear the officers pushing more a little bit on her story and her reticence to talk about some things.
When we talked the other day, you described kind of holding the baby, clutching it kind of to your breast, chest area, and the baby's face was towards you.
She could have got an abortion. She chose not to. Abortion's legal? Well, it was. She chose not to do that. She chose to wait until she was full term with a baby, deliver it in secret, and then unalive it. So that argument don't fly here. It don't fly.
Was the baby still trying to cry a little bit and you're just trying to keep things a little on the quiet side?
I'm not sure.
You're just not sure.
I'm sorry. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure.
I don't know that not sure is going to answer some of the questions that people are going to want answered.
Yeah.
You're 19, I understand you were terrified. So you're in the bathroom, you birth the baby cried. How long do you think you held the baby there?
I'm not sure. Is this just gonna be asking me about like holding the baby, like this interview?
No, we're gonna go into other things as well. But it's a question that needs to be answered.
Yeah.
It's a pretty important question.
Can you just give me some time to like kind of go over it in my head and maybe answer those later?
You're grown. You can do pretty much whatever you want, but I can tell you right now, there are people that are waiting to find out your truthfulness, your honesty, and what you were thinking at that time.
Yeah.
Going away and then having time to what people will view as concocting a story might not be the best idea.
I'd say I mean, I really have no concept of time for like how long anything happened, but I probably held it for, I think I held maybe like 10 minutes, maybe somewhere around there.
Okay. And obviously, at some point, the baby wasn't moving anymore, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when you laid the baby on the towel, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You clean yourself up some, clean baby up some, and you ended up taking a nap,
Mm-hmm.
and then reassessing the baby, and then determining, no, baby's, and probably were in full panic mode, is my guess at this point. And you don't seem like a very like run around crazy panic person. I'm guessing you internalize a lot of things and kind of think through them the best you can.
I mean, I'm not a running around panicky kind of person. I just
kind of have the science mind where you try to figure out how to work the problem, so to say.
Now, she just said, I'm not the kind of person that goes running around all panicky. She said, I'm not the panicky type of person. I just don't do that. And then she turns right around here in a second and says, oh, well, I panicked.
Honestly, a lot of things I do when I get panicked, I just kind of try and put it out of my mind, or I overthink it way too much.
Okay. Were you trying to silence the crying so roommates didn't hear it? Because all 3 roommates or suite mates heard a baby cry.
I'm going to stop that for a second. So, see, this is one of the things that I've been trying to learn to do is to stop these, because I don't think that, like in these interviews, I don't think that these investigators ever stop them and say, okay, wait a minute. Now, what do you mean by that? You know, like, I think people, they let them just say something and then they move on. They move right on past it instead of making them explain what they're actually meaning when they say certain things. And that's, and I've caught on to that big time in a lot of things that we watch. So that's why I stop it so much. We're going to hold you to your word, whoever you are.
Just put it.
Didn't recognize it at the time because it didn't make sense to them. You know what I mean? But then, of course, as they saw everything, it started making sense to them on that.
I mean, I just kind of put its head like right here-ish, and it stopped.
That's right.
Okay, stop crying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the detective circled back to who the father of Moore's child could be.
I feel like it's got to be between like 2 people.
Do you know their names?
Yeah, I can tell you their.
She said, I feel like it's got to be between 2 people. The dad. I mean, I don't know. I don't think being a virgin is as like when I was young, you know, like a lot of the girls wished they were. You know what I mean? Like that was something to be proud of if you were a virgin. And now I think people are embarrassed and ashamed of being one, you know? That's sad, ain't it? You ought to be proud of it. Don't give yourself away so freely. It's when we don't think, we don't have any self-confidence and we don't have any self-value, and that has to come from our parents. When our parents have to instill in us, it's so important, like having a mom and a dad, those roles, and having a good mom and a dad, those roles are so important for a healthy healthy childhood development. You know, we really need a mom and a dad. We do. Very few of us ever have it, though. And so we get whatever next best thing we can get. And I'm grateful. Listen, blood don't make a family. Gender don't make a family. Listen, and I'm a Christian, but they ain't none of us perfect, y'all. There's a difference between church people and godly people. There's a big difference, y'all. And we're supposed to love everybody. We're supposed to love it don't matter. It don't matter. We're still supposed to love them. Ain't none of us perfect. The only one, like Jesus came to save the sinners, and every single one of us are sinners. Every single one of us. I know a lot of gay people who believe in God, and they're not an abomination. They're just as worthy of being saved as I am. I ain't nothing special. God jerked me out of the depths of hell. He can jerk any of us out of there. And we're going to be sinners till the day we die. Because I'm going to keep making mistakes every day, even though I'm saved now. I still do stupid stuff every single day, and I have to ask God to forgive me. But now, taking a baby's life is just, she can be forgiven too, but she's got to admit it and ask God to forgive her. That's between her and God. But I can sure give my opinion on it because I think it's evil. Oops. Hang on, y'all. About lost it there for a second. There we go.
Are you gonna contact them?
I don't know yet, but we might have to.
Okay. Yeah, I can tell you their names.
Michael, how important is it to locate the baby's father?
So you've got a prosecution, right? If when you have a prosecution and you have a father or survivor in a murder case, from the prosecution standpoint, you want to humanize that deceased baby. You want someone to come forward and say, yeah, had I known that she was pregnant, I'd have helped her. I'd have given her the money to go to the hospital. I'd have raised that child. I'd have been there for her, and I've been support, because that's going to help a jury get to a murder conviction. So those questions are definitely not benefiting her and are helping the prosecution. Mm-hmm. They want to humanize this fetus. A lot of people, don't believe that a fetus is a child, right? So that's a debate. Obviously, that it was born, it cried, so it now becomes.
I think this guy is kind of old. I think he's I think he's like still got old way of thinking on that. But I don't know. If the roommates heard that baby crying in the bathroom, and they've already done the autopsy, they know how that baby was full term.
Becomes a child, but they really want to put a father there, somebody to testify, and they'll figure out who that is if she's being correct with the DNA test. That yes, that was my child. I'd have been there. I'd have raised that child had that been a viable pregnancy, had that child lived.
It's pretty remarkable. One, that you self-delivered, but two, that you were able to self-deliver in that amount of time.
I know.
That's generally somebody who's had several children.
Once I realized it was happening, I went to the bathroom and I was hurting so bad I couldn't move. And literally once I got like the courage to like order an Uber, call an ambulance, it came.
It was
It was coming.
Can I
yeah.
you were gonna order an Uber or call an ambulance?
Yeah.
You had your phone with you in the bathroom?
Yeah, I literally had the app pulled up, and then as I was typing it in, I was like, I can't. I know.
This is gonna be a tie.
Can I ask? Because I know that the people are gonna ask. Okay. So you were gonna call, but then it came. Obviously, that's probably you can't dial the phone while it's happening, right?
Yeah.
After it comes out, and after you've held or the baby or set it down, why didn't you grab your phone and call then?
I mean, I think I was just scared at that point. I don't know. I was just panicking.
We appreciate your honesty. Obviously you've been very cooperative and you've been very helpful. You know what I mean? This is a very traumatic experience for you. Okay. I don't think that you're a bad person. You know what I mean? I don't think that you've, done anything, crazy, but at the end of the day, I want you to think truly down to, your actions and everything that happened. And if you feel, that there's something that we don't know, you know what I mean? Or something that you haven't been forthcoming about, you know what I mean? It's imperative and it's very important that you tell us that.
This is going to be looked at by us.
A lot of people
The
are going to look at
state
this.
attorney's office is going to look at this. I'm guessing you saw it was in the papers, correct? It made the news that a baby was found on campus. Okay. Now they don't have the whole story. That's for sure. But
What
they
about
know
my
they're-
name? Is that in?
No, not right now. It's not. Now, at some point, these things all become record.
Yeah.
Okay, they do become record at some point. But there's lots of people looking at this and trying to figure things out. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to have a lot of sympathy for a 19-year-old in a scary situation. Okay, but a lot of those people want very truthful answers of how things happen.
Yeah.
Moore and her family coordinated with a local funeral home, and according to an article from the Tampa Bay Times, she returned home to Mississippi with the newborn's remains in an urn. And over the next several months, Tampa police and the Hillsborough County Prosecutor's Office worked closely together to determine if there was probable cause to charge Moore with a crime.
I don't know who made that decision. So she kills her own baby, and then after they do the autopsy and they cremate the baby, then they put it in an urn and give it to her and say, here's your baby. After she unalived it, well, they ought to have done something else with it. Should she have gotten that? I wouldn't have wanted to give that baby's ashes to her. I would have tried to have found out who the daddy was and give the ashes to the daddy if he wanted them.
And before the baby was turned over to the funeral home, an autopsy was performed. And according to charging paperwork, which reads, during the autopsy, it was discovered that the infant had sustained multiple fractured ribs along the spine and evidence of petechial hemorrhaging in the lungs. Dr. McCormick determined that the cause of death was asphyxia due to compression of the torso with rib fractures and the manner of death as homicide.
So she held it. She put it between her chest, I think is what she said. And with its face against her chest. Now that's how we feed our babies. Ain't it? That is one of the most precious things in the world. To bond with your baby is to breastfeed your child. And she held that baby to her bosom and crushed its little spine and its lungs. And we're going to give her the baby's ashes.
Now, Michael, that's compelling evidence. I'm sure the defense will present their own expert to combat that, but that's compelling.
I suppose it is, except that I'd want to question the medical examiner, right? There was nobody to assist her in having the child. She had the child by herself on a bathroom floor.
Now, I really do not like this guy. I don't like nothing he had to say. He doesn't look like he's that old, but it seems like everything he's saying is just so archaic in his reasonings and stuff.
Could it be from hugging the child? Could it be from asphyxiating the child? Could it be from the fact she didn't know that she was pregnant and the child was malnourished coming out of her birth canal by herself on a bathroom floor? Could she have inadvertently harmed the child, right? Could she have, in the manner there's nobody helping her birth this child. So
that was a decision that she made. She put herself in that situation. Like, I can't go put myself in a situation like, let me go drink with some dude all night long, kiss on him, lead him on, and then go home and get all naked and get in the bed with him and then expect him not to touch me. And if he does, then I'm going to go cry the R word. No, I'm sorry, but that's not really how that goes. Like, I have to take if I do that, then I didn't have no business there. I didn't have no business doing what I was doing. I didn't have no business leading them on. I didn't have no business taking my clothes off. I didn't have no business getting in the bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to take some responsibility for your own actions at some point in time. You can't just blame everybody else and say, well, I'm not sure.
Is it possible that those injuries that were sustained were accidental? And I suspect that a medical examiner is going to answer that question and say, yeah, it's possible. You're talking about a 9.5-month-old fetus that was just born. It's very fragile.
And here's the other part. We didn't even get to this. When authorities got their hands on digital evidence from Moore's phone, they found disturbing messages. On September 13th, 2023, the defendant sent multiple text messages back and forth with a contact in her phone labeled Kasim. These texts are part of a much larger chain of text messages. However, the messages relevant to this motion occur only on September 13th, 2023. Now, in September of 2023, Moore would already have been pregnant, although whether she knew or not, that's up for debate. I'm going to warn you, these messages are unpleasant, to say the least. And in the messages, Brianna and Kasim are talking about what are sometimes referred to as morning after pills or abortion pills. And Kasim calls them Plan C and says crazy. And Brianna replies, hey man, sometimes you need a Plan C. Kasim writes, Plan A was condoms. Plan B was the pill. Plan C was to kill the kid. To which Brianna says, Plan C is my favorite. Michael, I wonder if that is the most problematic part of this case.
And this girl texted this. This was a text chain that this girl had with a boy, maybe even the dad, who knows. But she had this text communication months before she had the baby. Before she had the baby. That tells me that she thought about it. She knew what she was gonna do. This was a plan.
From a defense standpoint, that's pretty damning evidence, right? So it sounds like that's how the prosecution's going to get to murder in the first degree. Planned, prepared, and that's how you paint a picture of a cold, callous individual who didn't care that she was pregnant, didn't try to nourish the child, didn't try to give the child away, didn't try for health care. Yeah, that's evidence that I would prefer, if I was defending this case, did not exist.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, in a motion to have the text included as evidence at trial, the prosecution wrote the September 13th, 2023 text messages are relevant. They very clearly lay out a willingness to kill a baby if other means of contraception have failed. Although intent to kill is not an element of the charged offenses, there is an intent element inherent in the willful failure to provide care of a child neglect charge and consciously doing an act or following a course of conduct that gives rise to culpable negligence for an aggravated manslaughter charge. And in October of 2024, months after the birth, authorities arrested Moore in Mississippi, brought her back to Florida, and she was charged with child neglect with great bodily harm, unlawful storage, preservation, or transportation of human remains, failure to report death to medical examiner or law enforcement, and aggravated manslaughter of a child. Do you think it's going to be a straightforward case, Michael, to prove that? And I will tell you also, the charges were later amended to change the charge of unlawful storage of human remains to unlawful hold or storage of a human body in unapproved conditions. But go back to you. Do you think those charges are going to be straightforward or easy for prosecutors to prove?
I don't think anything's ever easy, especially when you have emotions involved in a case like this. I think that, there's certainly for the prosecution, there's direct evidence, there's circumstantial evidence. So I don't think they have a huge hill to climb to get there. And because they're not going for murder in the first degree and they're going for these lesser charges, yeah, I think a conviction is likely.
Like with the Alexi Treviso, the first girl that we watched, the first story, if she would have just come out and said, I'm so sorry, I got scared, I didn't know what to do, and I did this, she would not get any more punishment. She absolutely would not get a worse punishment. But if she continued the way that her and her mother have chosen to deal with this, instead of taking, saying, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, please forgive me, I have no excuse, and just own it, that would go so much further than denying it, continuing to deny that you ever knew you were pregnant, continuing to deny any responsibility and pointing the blame everywhere else but where it should go on yourself. And, suing the hospital, trying to blame the doctors and blaming the nurses. Like, that crap ain't what's gonna fly. That, to me, looks a lot worse. If I was a juror, that would look way worse to me than if somebody came out and actually showed a little remorse and actually showed like they cared anything about this baby. Say you're sorry. Say, I regret it. I wish I could go back and do it all over again. I wish I could just have that decision back. But nobody ever does that. They're not going to get more time. You'd probably get less time if you did that, truthfully. But because they just keep lying and lying and lying, and it sounds like lies, so nobody's going to have much compassion for you. I'm not. And I used to think everybody was innocent. I used to think I backed everybody. But man, I just kept getting disappointed. Every time I backed somebody, every time I sung their praises, it wasn't no time and I was finding out something, or you just get let down so much. I'm not optimistic. I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt, because if they deserved that benefit of the doubt, they would have called 911. They would have given Alexi would have given the doctors a chance to save that baby. She would have given them a chance. She didn't even give them a chance. Like, That child will never go to Head Start. That baby will never get to walk in its 8th grade graduation. It'll never have its first girlfriend. It'll never have its first kiss. It'll never graduate high school and get married. That baby had a whole life ahead of it to just be stuck in a garbage bag and tied up like a what? I don't even know. Like, I don't even know a critter that you do that to, let alone a defenseless little baby.
Now, one of the case's recent court filings kind of give us a glimpse, a little bit maybe, into the type of defense Moore might use. And that's because the prosecution noted that the defense wanted to bring in an expert testimony from Dr. Nicole Graham, a forensic neurophysicist. And the state deposed Dr. Graham in May and included a transcript from it in its motion to strike her testimony. They don't want it in. Dr. Graham did her best to try to describe what a mild dissociative state is like. Quote, "It is a bit of a disconnect from reality, but not in the psychotic sense where you're misperceiving reality, but in the sense in which your emotions and your cognitive thought processes aren't aligned with how you would typically act in day-to-day functioning. We might see people in a dissociative state as a response to trauma where they do have gaps in their memory or they have like perceptual disturbances. Sometimes people report being disconnected from the situation, so they feel as though they're not even in their own body. They're like kind of an outsider looking in to what's taking place. Those can be very emotionally overwhelming situations." And as part of her interview process, Dr. Graham explained that she has people go through the story of what happened multiple times, occasionally inserting pieces of information that she's learned from other sources into the conversation to see how the person talks about the experience each time. And that can help indicate whether a person truly doesn't remember something or if they might be, putting on an act. And during the deposition, Dr. Graham said of Moore, she described herself as being numb, that she kind of just didn't feel anything. And likewise, in the reports immediately surrounding that time, had described her likewise as being numb or flat, or the presentation wasn't consistent with the severity or reality of the allegation of what she had gotten herself into. So, Michael, real quick, your take on a possible defense here on that.
So the possible defense, the affirmative defense, is insanity. Okay, you have to not be able to distinguish between right and wrong and know what you're doing is wrong. And a dissociative state, that is possible, but in the absence of a major mental illness, not very likely. And that's essentially what the government's saying, is this doesn't rise to the level of insanity. The doctor hasn't said that she was insane at the time that she gave birth to the child, at the time that she killed the child. So therefore, her testimony is irrelevant because you can't ask for a jury pardon. And that's essentially what they would be doing by making this argument. So it's definitely a well-founded motion. Yeah. If the doctor comes on a little stronger and says it could rise to the level of insanity, then the testimony should be admitted.
Now, Dr. Graham testified during the deposition that she believed Moore experienced what's known as a cryptic pregnancy, which happens when women genuinely don't realize they're pregnant until they give birth. She said Moore has a passive personality, low self-esteem, emotionally immature, which all likely contributed to her decision to try to hide what happened. But Dr. Graham said she had not been hired to determine if Moore was insane per se, but based on her interactions with her, she was not. According to the Tampa Bay Times, reporting indicates Moore faces up to 30 years in prison if she's convicted on the top charge of manslaughter of a child. Her trial was originally set to begin on July 21st, but on July 11th, a notice was filed with the court that the appearance was canceled. There was no specific reason that was given, but the Hillsborough County Court docket indicates a motion for continuance was filed. Michael Gottlieb, thank you so much for taking the time. Really sad case. A lot of interesting elements to it, but appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
And that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. And as always,
all right, guys. So we'll just leave that one. Somebody, I forget who it was, I was reading through there and they said, Elizabeth, you seem off tonight. I hope you're all right. I am menopausal. I am menopausal. Plus, I was taking that Manjaro shot, and I took it for several weeks, and then I went to go up on the dose. So I was already getting used to it kind of makes you a little wacko too, taking that. You're not eating, you're hungry all the time. It's like hangry. I was getting hangry all the time. And, but I'd lost like 20 pounds. I felt really good in that aspect. I went to go up on my dose, and gallbladder attacks left and right. It took me a week and a half to get over the gallbladder attacks. It was awful. So I have not taken my shot in a month now, I guess. And I'm trying not to overeat, because now that medicine's wore off and I'm wanting to eat all the time. So last time I gained all my weight back immediately and more, because I was just so hungry. This time I'm trying to be more careful of what I eat, and just, you gotta, I don't know, have willpower. No. But I think the shot, me taking that shot and then not taking it, and then taking it and then not taking it, and then going a while and then taking it and then not taking it, it has absolutely just jacked my emotions all to pieces. So pray for me. I need all the prayer that I can get, because all this stuff with these dogs and the neighbors and all that has just been so draining. It's been very emotionally draining, because I have to deal with these dogs every day. I was 3 o'clock when I said I woke up this morning, like 3 o'clock, 3 or 4. And there I was laying on the couch. I had all my fur babies all snuggled up around me, and my mind was out there at them two in the sweltering hot box. Just pray for us. But the biggest thing is, we're looking for a house. I would move if we could find us a house. Me and Mom are going to buy a house together that we can live together again. And so we've been looking, but we've been looking for 2 years and we ain't found one. I hate to put money into this house when I know this is just temporary. This is not where I want to stay. But I don't think that we'll end up finding one. Like, I need an office. I need a big office. I need a bedroom. I need a 4-bedroom house. Or more. 5. Really do. But big den. But Mom says we're not going to find it through a realtor. We'll find it through word of mouth. So I figured I'd put out the word again. So hopefully, if anybody knows for any nice house, or 4-bedroom house is around here, let us know. Let us know. Well, Lord, thank you, Jesus, for another day being able to come together in your name, Lord. We love you so much, Jesus. I'm so thankful for your presence in my life, Lord. I pray that you forgive me for my sins every day, Lord. I'm always coming up short. I'm always making mistakes. I'm always doing something I shouldn't do. I pray that you just help me stay on the narrow path, Lord. The Bible tells us that the broad road to destruction is going to have many people on it. The devil's going to lead many of us straight into the pits of hell. but narrow is the way, and few will be found on it. And Lord, I pray that you'll remember me when you come into your kingdom. I love you, Jesus. Some of our friends have lost loved ones recently, Lord, and I just pray that you touch them, that you give them the peace and the strength and the comfort that they need. Help them to feel your presence in their life. I pray that you heal all of us in all the ways that we need healing. You know all about it. We pray for the unspoken requests, Lord, for those that you know all about. But until we come again tomorrow, Lord, we give you all praise, honor, and glory. Go with us and bring us back. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen. All right, guys. You have a great rest of your evening. Enjoy your Saturday. And law, I'm gonna do you short. I've got it. I've already got it recorded and stuff, so I can just stick it right on up in a short. As soon as we find us a guitar player, I'm gonna try and sing it. Well, I think we found this one. We just gotta get over there and practice. I found a drummer, and I think I found me a guitar player, and I don't know if we got a bass player or not, but I think he said just to give them a little while until they can get the practice room going. And so hopefully we're going to try and sing it. I'm going to try and sing it. We'll see if we can get her done. See if we can get her done. But until then, we've got the AI demo, which it's really good. Everybody likes it real good. If I can do it justice, I'm gonna try. All right, y'all. I love you. And I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye. Peace out, Girl Scout.